U2NIVERSITY is sponsored by Marco's Pizzeria and Grill in Aston, PA. Make sure you go and try one of their specialty salads, my personal favorite, the tequila lime salad. Or you can go and try their buffalo chicken pizza. Welcome to U2NIVERSITY and welcome our special guest, Jameel Burton. What's up, bro? How are you?
I'm good, man. Good to be here.
Appreciate you for coming on the show. We're going to chat it up.
Right.
Have a good little convo here. First things first, Chester High alumni, right?
Mm-hmm.
You started off at Cardinal O'Hare, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
right?
I did.
What was the transition like going from O'Hare to Chester High?
I see a lot of people ask me this and they thought it would be hard, but it was actually easy because, I'm coming home. It's not like I'm going from Chester to O'Hare.
Right.
I'm coming from O'Hare to home.
Right.
So, I was proud to be there. I mean, of course, it's different schools, different situations, and then COVID.
Right.
So I wasn't even in the school, so I was online. Practices was just us. Games was just us, no fans. So, I mean, it was difficult as far as COVID, but as far as just, the different, communities, it was cool.
Right. Dang, that was COVID year. That was the beginning of COVID, right? Like, y'all was...
The beginning of COVID happened my junior year, so I was at O'Hare. But our season was over by that time.
Right, okay.
So by the time I got to Chester High, our season got delayed. So we didn't even start our season until, I think, January.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how many games did you guys? Did you guys play 15 games that year, if I'm not mistaken? Y'all still played 15
including
games?
state. We made it to the state semifinals.
Right. I do remember that.
Only 15 games. That's
okay.
Crazy.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, too, were you guys district champs that year?
We were.
Okay.
Yep.
I talked to Zay a little bit.
Yeah.
You saw Zay on the show.
Uh-huh.
Describe a little bit about that. The feeling of being a district champ. Everybody can't, get that feeling or be a district champ. So, dive into a little bit of that.
It was definitely a great feeling. Unfortunately, though, in that game, we played against Westchester Ruston. And if you've seen that game, one of their best players got hurt.
Okay.
He broke his ankle. And we grew up with that player.
Right.
So you seeing him go down and the whole mood of the game changed.
Yeah.
So we won. Yeah, we was happy, but that's not the way we wanted to win.
Right.
So it was a good win. District champs. That's a big thing, especially during that time. COVID. Mm-hmm. But our bigger picture was a state champ.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, I know what it's like to play in a district chip. Unfortunately, we lost our district chip, and I know what it is to play in states. But those are really big games. And a lot of the times it's a lot of fans and everything like that. So you already kind of are in that feeling, playing for Chester High. You guys get a lot of fans out.
Not that season, unfortunately.
Well, yeah. I forgot. I'm tripping. Dang, and even was states no fans for you guys?
So the way they did states was each team had a certain amount of tickets. But even with that, it's not like a regular Chester High game. So
right. It's
during states, we had a few fans, but it wasn't a lot. And we felt like we were following the rules, but other team wasn't. So they were coming to our gym with more fans than us. So it's like, what's going on with that? But the state semifinals, the game we ended up losing, that was a pretty nice amount of fans. So that's the only real Chester High game we kind of got.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. And it's all a blur now, too, the whole COVID thing with all the fans and stuff. I mean, that was a tough year. I know it was a tough year for you guys, but you guys got the opportunity to play. I want you to describe what it was like during that time, with COVID, practices and playing with no fans and games. What was that like? Because you guys had to play with masks too, right?
Man, did we? So we had, the thing about that, though, we had to play with masks, but it didn't have to be over our nose.
Okay.
So we were playing with it, below. It was supposed to be, over our mouths. But, once you get tired, you can't breathe. It's going right under your chin. So that's usually how we play. So the mask wasn't really too much of a big deal.
Okay.
It was really the fans.
Yeah.
And, not you couldn't even have your parents there.
Right.
So it was just you, the other team, coaches, the refs, and we had our cheerleaders. So, I mean, it's not the same. You don't get that same energy. You don't get that same. You go on a run. You don't got people clapping for you. It was you and your team.
Right.
That's the only thing you got.
Right.
So, I mean, we really missed that, but that's just something we just had to adjust to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. And I mean, we know that. I know it was as a coach, it was just it was a weird environment. It was the same for us. Sometimes we had parents at the games. Other times it was we was going to other people's gyms and we was playing in a quiet gym. Just refs, coaches, players. You just hearing the ball bounce. It's it's quiet. It's it's more live at the Y. At least you like hearing stuff at the Y. People, laughing, joking. Everybody get to play. But, that was a rough season. But that, I think for you guys are a special group, special year because that built character for you guys.
It did.
You guys went through a lot of adversity that year.
Like not to cut you off or anything,
no,
but
good.
Did y'all have like restrictions on your locker room?
Oh, we ain't had no restrictions in the locker room. Not that I can think of.
We wasn't supposed to be in the locker room, but
because of the social distance.
Yeah, social distance. So like even in the locker room, I mean, we was together, but they was mask on. Our AD would come in there and make sure your mask on, this and that.
Wow.
So like even with that, it was just everything was affected.
Wow, I didn't even think about that, like, cause I don't think we had to actually really enforce that here. Like I think as long as they had masks on, cause they had masks on all day.
Yeah, so we did too. They didn't play about that.
Yeah,
cause not even just like for safety concerns, like one person get it, our whole season was done.
Right, exactly.
So they was on it. We had to be masked up.
Right, that's crazy. So go from Chester High to East Stroudsburg. Now, did you have any offers coming out of high school? What was your college experience going into college like for basketball? Like, what was that going in?
The recruitment process was rough.
Yeah.
And that even, because of COVID as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, with college, everybody in college got their year back.
Right.
So colleges wasn't looking for new freshmen to come in if they're getting their whole team back. I mean, I understand it, but at the end of the day, it was just like, dang, like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So, I didn't have too many looks coming out. So what happened was I ended up getting in contact with East Stroudsburg, and the coach, brought me out there for a visit. He was basically saying, we don't have any money to give you, or we can't even guarantee you a spot.
Right. But
you could walk on.
Okay.
And at that point, you got to earn it. Right. And I was just like, I'm going.
Right. That's the way to go.
Right.
And that's tough. Walking on is tough at any school, any sport. Like it's definitely a tough thing to do. What was freshman year like though? Like you're a walk on. What is your expectation coming in, and what are you looking to do as a freshman? That first year in college.
Expectations. Well, I mean, they did say I was gonna walk on, so I'm thinking like, okay, like this is the real deal. Yeah. And I'm thinking like before college, I'm lifting in the gym every day, trying to make sure I'm not too far behind. I get there, and that's something they really do. Like they really go hard in the weight room. Yeah. So I was kind of prepared for that. And it was just like it was easier than I thought it would be. Okay. I got in there, the team it was cool. They treated me like the little brother, so it wasn't like a hard transition. Right. And I enjoyed it. I mean, of course, I wanted to play more, but I enjoyed it.
Right. What's the I mean, you were talking to Bryson a little bit before. Like the work ethic portion of it. You guys having to lift early and practices are early and everything like that. So dive into a little bit of that, like the difference of the college practice from a high school practice.
Difference, man. What I will say is you gotta really want it. you can't go in there just thinking, I'm gonna just play just because I want to play. Like it's a lot that goes into like even with the mental, like getting up at 6 a.m. for a workout. Right. Then some people have 8 a.m. classes. So workouts from 6 a.m. to 7:30 and you gotta go to class until like 2 o'clock that day. And then 2 days out the week we have a 2:30 practice. Okay. So now you're doing 2 a days, and it's a lot. And then during the season, you missing out on a lot of the regular college life, I would say. People going out parties. Nah, we got practice. We got practice in the morning. We got an away game, so we're not even gonna be on campus. Like it's a lot. Yeah. So I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's hard, but you really gotta want to do it.
Right. And that's discipline. Like not being able to, like you said, go out to parties and live your college life and just spend time with, more of your friends. I mean, you with your teammates, that's your family right there. But definitely missing out on a lot of the college life. Right. But it's a sacrifice. It is. If this is something that you want to do, then you got to just keep, being locked in and doing what you need to do to kind of get that spot that you want.
Absolutely.
Keep, doing that. So tell me a little bit about, I'm going to go back to high school a little bit here. Tell me a little bit about being a leader on that district team because you're a senior, so you have to definitely be, one of the leaders or one of the captains to kind of lead your team to put them in the right position.
Right. It's a little bit of pressure. You can't, you got the freshmen in there, you got the underclassmen in there. They walk in there, they might be a little nervous. Right. You can't, even if you are nervous, you can't show that. You got to show them like, it's only a game. We in here, we trying to win, play basketball, do what you got to do.
Right.
So it's definitely a little bit of pressure, but I enjoyed it. It taught me a little bit of my character.
Okay.
It gave me the opportunity to, lead the team.
Right.
Before that, I wasn't really a leader at O'Hare. So I got there, they gave me the opportunity to be a leader. I took advantage of it.
Right. Now, talked about, your character and how that built you. Like, what would you say is one of your stronger characteristics now, going into college, other than, being a leader? Because of course, like, everything resets when you get back to college.
Right.
It's like,
Absolutely. Right.
It's like you back to being like almost the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly.
Like you gotta really work to get back up. So what is that like? Like, describe that, some characteristics that you can take with you, going into your next season this year.
Being vocal. That is the number one. Being vocal. I got there, I wasn't too vocal. And you see everybody else in the gym. At high school, you hear the coach talking most of the time. Right. You get to the college practices, it's number of players. You hear do this, do that. Ball. Like, right. That's something you got to get used to. And it took me a little minute. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a minute. But if you want to play, you got to be vocal. Right. So it's something I had to learn. And going to the next season, I think I'm way stronger at that than I was last year.
Okay, that's good. Now, kind of piggybacking off of that, like, so me and you met when we was at Jameer Nelson camp.
Right.
And you were basically like a coach. Like, you were a mentor to the younger kids, and of course so was I. Like, that was actually my second or third year coaching, or second year coaching high school basketball. So describe what it's like from teaching younger kids and putting that into your game, because not a lot of people realize that coaching actually, as players, helps you become better. Right. So if you can think about what helped you become a better player from doing something like that, what was the most thing that stood out to you from that experience?
The little things. You watching the game as a coach, and you want your players to be almost as perfect as possible.
Right.
So you looking at the little things they do, like just even like moving on defense.
Right.
Getting to the right spot. It make you realize, like, I'm telling them to do it, but am I doing it myself?
Right.
So it's kind of a like, I can't be telling these kids to do stuff that I'm not doing myself. So like doing that, it made me, tighten up my game, basically. Right. So yeah, I can't say nothing specific, but it was a lot. It's a lot.
Okay. Did you learn anything from when Jameer came to talk at the end? Because it was some things that he said, and I know he was talking to kids, but it's some things that he said that definitely stuck with me, going into continuing to coach and trying to teach kids. But did you pick up anything from what Jameer said really at the end of the camp that week?
I wouldn't say I picked up, but he made me, what can I say, think harder about the subject, and it was the work ethic.
Okay.
He talked about his work ethic, when he got to the league, or even before he got to the league.
Right.
And at that time, I'm going into my junior year of high school.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was like, from then on, it's like you got to realize the work you got to put in to get where you want to be.
Yep.
So I think like the next week, no, not that week, the next day, I started working out with Ryan after the camps.
Okay.
So like it all went into one thing. So
right.
Yeah, that's what I picked up from it.
Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you played for Team Final, right?
Yes, Team Final Orange.
Okay, Team Final Orange. What were those practices like? Because Team Final is one of the most, regardless of whatever, team that you were on, with them, they're one of the most well-known organizations, right. AAU organizations in the country. So describe what it was like to play for such a great organization and great coaches of, all around our state, our not even our state, but just kind of this local area, because right. These coaches are great coaches, and I learned stuff from them from just watching, little highlight clips and going to AAU games now. So what was it like to play for Team Final?
It was fun. We wasn't the national team, so we
right.
didn't get to go to the, EYBL, but it was still Team Final. So
right.
People seeing us, they like, oh, that's Team Final.
Right.
You feel me? So practice was hard. It was not hard as in difficult, but like we played hard. We did, our drills hard. When it's time to scrimmage, we going at each other.
Right.
And the people that was on my team is people I've been playing with since I was in like third grade.
Okay.
So it's more of a family thing with that team. Even the coaches, I call the coach's uncle.
Right.
So it was. I loved it, man. I miss it. We didn't even get our last year because of COVID.
Because of COVID, right.
So COVID just keep coming up over and over again. So COVID ruined a lot for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there any particular players, either from the AAU season or high school season, that you can remember that challenged you the most to become better?
Russell Diggins.
Okay.
From when I was at O'Hara.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people ask you, has anybody cooked you? My answer is no, but he got the best of me one time.
Okay.
We played against Archbishop Wood, and it was like he wasn't doing nothing special, but he did everything that needed to be done.
Yeah.
So it made you think like, okay, I'm working on all these fancy moves. You don't need that. Just perfect what you need to perfect, and you're gonna be good. So that's really
Okay.
He made me think about my game a little bit.
I like that because it's always people that challenge you. Like,
right.
When I was a player, it was people just in grades above me that would challenge me and just push me to get to that next level. And I mean, you always go against people that's, of course, sometimes a little more talented or even like could be just your same talent level, but they push you and they like it's like, all right, like I got to get after it. Like I got to get after this person. So, no, that's good. So what have your past teams, now again, that could be Final, Chester High, O'Hara, what have they taught you to become better? Like, I know it's kind of like a lot of these questions are kind of recycled, but it's different aspects of these questions because it's really kind of like trying to pull out like what's bringing out you know what I'm saying? So like, what have any past teams, Final, O'Hara, even your college team right now, what are they doing to help you become better?
Well, they all taught me the importance of brotherhood.
Okay.
And without that, chemistry, the team isn't going to be that good. You know, I won't say which team in particular, but one year we had problems with chemistry, and it showed on the court. Yeah. We losing games that we shouldn't be losing. You got people frustrated, the locker room people frustrated. But when you get that brotherhood together and that chemistry together, you're a way better team. Yeah. Everybody's passing, everybody getting bucket, nobody is upset, and then you start winning. Yeah. So they really taught me the importance of chemistry. And even when I got to East Stroudsburg, like I said, the chemistry was great. They took me in as a little brother. They telling me, yo, do this. And there's people that I'm trying to go after. I'm trying to get your spot. Right. And they teach me, the things to do better. And that's like, I respect that. And it really makes you a better team. That's
really important. The family aspect of the game of basketball is beyond a lot of, I would say basketball and football. Like they're beyond a lot of sports now. I'm not really into soccer like that. And sorry to anybody that plays soccer that's watching the pod, but it's a family. A lot of the team sports are family sports, of course. It's family oriented, and like you said, like you got guys that you going after in practice because that's how practice is supposed to be. It's supposed to be competitive. When you in practice, you going after your teammate. You going after they spot because nothing is guaranteed for anybody, especially in college.
I was just about to say that, man.
It's not guaranteed at all.
At the end of the day, they trying to do whatever to stay at their spot. Exactly. Whether it's cut people, get new people, replace people, that's what they got to do.
I've seen it all. When I went to Newman, and I didn't play at Newman or anything like that, but I went to Newman and I watched a lot of games, and you would see the rotation change so much because so much is changing because one game somebody could have that great game and the coach be like, all right, maybe I gotta, what I mean, but
that's all it takes.
It could be, one time somebody says something to practice or somebody grades not right or whatever the case may be. Like you never know the situation in college, so like,
and that's why even some of my teammates that I'm trying to go after, they telling me stay ready. Like you never know when that opportunity comes. Somebody can get hurt and you got to go in the game now. Exactly. You do good now. You got a spot. Right. That's just how it goes. Right. So.
That's just a testament of, like you said, like just your work ethic, getting after it, even though, we was talking about the family aspect, but you getting after it in practices and everything like that, like you just never know. And you always got to be prepared. So that's definitely a good thing. What's the best piece of advice that you've gained from a coach?
Best piece of advice from a coach. Do not get complacent. Okay. And this came from a coach last year. Okay. And he told me, because this was after the season, he said, you came in strong. You came in, like you was ready. Right. He said, but it was this period during the season where I felt like you got complacent. He was like, you can't get complacent. Because while you getting complacent, somebody else is getting stronger. Right. So now you right here, now they getting over here. Yeah. And that can really hurt you. And that hit me because I really wanted to play. Right. And I was like, dang, I didn't realize I was being complacent, but I'm like, I ain't never do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
But that ties into exactly what we was literally just talking about, like getting after it in practice, like, and being ready and being prepared and not knowing what's going to happen at the college level because you just never know. So like, keep putting that work in. Like he said, don't ever get complacent because you never know whose spot can be taken. Again, I've seen so many athletes in college. It's an ego thing.
Right.
It's a big ego thing. Like, oh, I'm the man, or I get to do this, I get to do that, and then next thing you know, somebody come in and take their spot, and it's just like, man, I don't even want to play no more.
Right.
Or
And that's
they get upset,
the
or
thing.
whatever the case may be. Like, that's crazy.
Right. And in college, everybody can play.
Right.
It's not high school where you got people swinging from JV to varsity.
Exactly.
No disrespect to JV because I played JV as a freshman too.
Right.
But when you get to college, everybody can play. Everybody was their best player on their high school team.
Right.
So you can't get comfortable because that person that's on the bench, he can hoop.
Yeah.
So he coming to get you. So yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, keep working, keep doing that. So we talked about a little bit of what you got advice from a coach, but what do you look for in your coaches? Because you chose East Stroudsburg to go into, to walk onto, but I'm pretty sure, you had a lot of other colleges on your list. So what stood out about the coaching staff at East Stroudsburg?
When I got there, he kept it real with me.
Okay.
It wasn't no selling false dreams, saying you're going to be this, you're going to be the player of the year. It was straight up told him. He said, I can't guarantee you nothing, but if you work for it, you're going to get it.
Okay.
And I respect that about him because it wasn't, he was being honest with me.
Right.
And I felt like with a coach like that, if he being honest with me before I get there and when I get there, it's the same thing. So I can do what I do and see if I really got it or not.
Right.
So that's what really got me there.
Okay. I like that. And like you said, like that's a big respect thing, especially for us as young men. Like, you want a man to be straight up with you from the rip. Like,
exactly.
You don't want anything. Don't sell me nothing that you can't,
Exactly.
Like, tell me what I need to do, and then I'm going to do it. Like, and I'm glad that, they did that for you up there because that means a lot. Like, can't just kind of BS me. You know what I'm saying?
Especially at that time where I'm dying to get to a school. I committed to East Stroudsburg in like the end of June.
Okay.
Mind you, people have been committing since March.
Right.
So I'm already behind. So now I'm at the point where I'm kind of like I'm getting anything I can get.
Right.
So with him being able to keep it real with me, I was like, all right, because it's not like he's selling a false dream and I'm just going for it.
Right.
He kept it real with me, and I was like, this is where I want to go.
So I want to touch up on this because it's a lot of athletes that's in your position now where they aren't committed,
right?
And they're either going into their senior year or they're still looking for somewhere to go. So describe the commitment of staying true to what you want to do. Because, again, like you said, you didn't commit until late and everybody else is committing early. So describe the commitment aspect of continuing to wanting to play and being a walk-on and kind of just that journey. Because, again, there's a lot of high school athletes that were in your position.
What I would say is just go where you want it, not where you want to go.
Okay.
So you can see anybody going to say, I want to go to Kentucky.
Right.
All right, go ahead. But you're not going to play. So what I would say is don't turn down those D3s because they D3.
Right.
People in D3 go overseas. They All-Americans. They transfer to D1s. Like, everybody can hoop.
People in D1 go overseas.
Exactly. So it's like, don't turn down any school. If they want you and that's where you feel like you can play and that's where you're going to be comfortable at, go. Right. Don't let anybody tell you, no, they're D3, not a good team. If you're good enough, you're going to make it a better team.
Right.
So I would just say go where you want it. Go where you're wanted.
Right. And again, to touch up on it, like you said, like go where you want to go and go what fits you and what fits your role.
Right.
A lot of guys look at their ego kind of thing, and it's kind of like, I gotta play at D1.
Exactly.
And like, come on, bro, like you're not D1 yet. And it's not saying that you can't ever get there.
Exactly. You
gotta have that work ethic to get there. So like, you gotta just kind of like exactly what you said. Go where you wanna, where you're wanted, and go where what's best for you and what's best for your situation.
And there's no saying that you gotta stay wherever you go.
Right.
You can go there, have the best season in your life. You got Kentucky finally calling you. Exactly. It's possible. So don't shut down all your opportunities for one opportunity that you just want to go to.
Right.
And they don't really want you.
Right. last couple things here. I want to dive into your brand a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your brand. I saw you kind of just started that not too long ago. So talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about the motivation to get started with everything. Dive into it.
Yeah, so Rich Premier Apparel, as you can see, the meaning behind that is the importance of wealth. I'm a big money guy, money mail on Instagram, this and that. I like money. So I came up with this, and I came up with this in my dorm. And and for all my college people out there, you're a broke college student. So you brainstorming like, oh, I got to get this money.
Right.
And I'm like, I got a thing for clothes, fashion, and it's like, I'm going to do this. So I started with hats, and I got T-shirts coming.
Okay.
And then, some people ask me, like, why do you do it? It's not so much of the creating part. It's the fact that, let's say if I give you a hat, and you like, yo, I like this hat. I feel good in this hat.
Right.
That's what gets me going. I like that.
Right.
I like being able to say, I made him feel better because he put my clothes on.
Right.
That's really what gets me. So, yeah, that's it. And I just dropped some hats, too, today. So, check out my page, Rich Premier Apparel.
Okay. We like it. I mean, and I'm a business owner myself, and outside of the basketball training and everything, I do apparel as well. And like you said, like the feeling of people liking your clothing and liking to put your clothing on means a lot to you. So definitely keep up with that. Keep up what you're doing in school, bro. You learning, you growing, you getting better. I'm gonna leave you with a little quote before we get out of here, if I can find it real quick. So, in order to have what you really want, you must be first to who you really are, right? So, basically, like you said, like you walked on, you are earning your spot, and like the quote says, like to get to where you really want to be, you gotta understand who you really are, right. And keep grinding, keep working. Like I said, like keep doing what you're doing with your clothes. It's gonna blow up. And again, I appreciate you for coming on.
I appreciate you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Keep working.